Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. This is the 6th episode of story where Naruto's potential is greater than Sasuke Uchiha's, but owing to a life of rejection, he wasn't what was expected, yet beneath every fake smile is a real person who hides out of fear. Watch as Naruto Uzumaki develops into the prodigy he was born to be, as he discovers his ancestors, both his father and the Uzumaki lineage. Please hit the subscribe and like buttons. Let's get this party started. 6 months. Team 7 had been a team for 6 months. They were relatively unknown among the other ninja. Kakashi had taken them on several cranks and even a prank, but no one really knew how the team operated. But they each had personal reputations. Sasuke was crowned prodigy, he had leveled his Sharingan to 2 tomos, and was increasing his speed tenfold. He was acknowledged by the public as the strongest member of the team. Sakura was still the dark horse. Her skills in medical ninjutsu had baffled the hospital, but they were running out of things to teach her theory-wise. Her practical skills were also top grade, but she was young and prone to easy mistakes. Naruto was the mystery. His skills constantly baffled his teammates. No matter how far they had come, Naruto seemed to just be farther in front. Sasuke had challenged Naruto to a spar. Sasuke fought hard, but Naruto's super strength and kenjutsu skills were refined. Sasuke would win once, and then Naruto would win 10. But through it all Sasuke and Naruto were close. They would frequent each other's place for tea. Sasuke had also commandeered the spare room in Irika's and Naruto's house so that if he stayed too late, he didn't have to go home. Naruto's personality had warmed up slightly. To the general public it was widely known that Naruto meant only business. Only a select few actually knew Naruto's kind side. Naruto stood with a book in his hands, his eyes briefly flicking up to look at his team. Sasuke had changed his outfit slightly. He had taken to wearing a blue trench coat, an Uchiha fan stitched into the back. He wore black shorts and a high-collared white t-shirt, his sandals were black. Sakura was wearing tight dan pants, knee-high black boots, a red short-sleeved t-shirt, the zip going up the left slightly, the collar was slightly high. On her brown belt were 2 packs, one was her shuriken, kunai, a newly acquired senbon. The other was white, and inside it contained healing ointments, chakra bandages and other medical supplies. Her long pink hair was pulled into a messy bun, strands falling behind her. Her headband was being used as a headband. She too sighed as he turned a page in her book. Kakashi is never on time, moaned Sasuke. He heard Naruto grunt slightly and Sakura give a feminine sigh. And I don't think that will change, said Naruto softly into the cool air. Sakura just rolled her eyes and nodded. Sasuke liked his team. The atmosphere was so different to when they first got together. Sakura had lessened in her attempts to go out, something Sasuke was thankful for. He was also impressed with her skills in medic jutsu. According to the hospital, she has been the closest to beating Tsunade Senju's record. Sakura could only do basic jutsu. The hospital wouldn't teach her anything more, claiming she had to be a Chunin to learn the extra stuff, resulting in Sakura coming to a plateau. Naruto was simply just more refined. His language had improved even higher. Then after his drastic change, Iruka had laughed and said Naruto was listening to the Hyuga speak. Naruto's skills were also refined, granted they were still a bit rough around the edges in some places. But Sasuke was proud for his friend. It had taken Sasuke a long time to even think that about Naruto as something more than an annoyance, but Naruto was pushy and friendly in his own way. Naruto hadn't changed much, he had gotten taller, all of them had. Naruto still wore his tight black pants, his knee-length brown boots, his tight-fitting gray t-shirt, and his long black coat. His hair had gotten longer, the back being pulled into a small ponytail. His horns of hair still stood proud on his head, his hair was still blood red. Naruto's eyes had changed slightly, his eyes were still piercing silver but the skin around his eyes had darkened, as if he was wearing eyeliner. Naruto had played it off simply, but Sakura had said it was nothing to do with lack of sleep. Naruto looked healthy. The bags beneath his eyes had gone. His skin was smooth and perfectly tanned. So, wonder what we're doing today, said Sasuke. He felt strange being the one to initiate conversation. Naruto perked his ears slightly. B, said Naruto. Sasuke and Sakura tensed. C, said Sakura. Sasuke then heard the whistling of air. B, said Sasuke. Sakura inclined her head, then each of them blurred. Naruto simply flicked his wrist, a kunai spun in his hand. His arm blurred, knocking away a few shuriken, his eyes fading from red quickly. Sasuke threw his own shuriken and with them knocked away the oncoming shuriken. Sakura threw 3 kunai and pinned the shuriken to the tree closest to her. Kakashi blurred onto the bridge, the familiar orange book in his hand. He blinked in shock as a kunai slid effortlessly beneath his chin, Another kunai was pointed below his heart, and a long blade was held against his back, ready to slice his spine. Kakashi looked at his Junon with a smile. "Well done, a little faster and you may actually kill me," said Kakashi before he blurred with a show of leaves. He appeared sat on the bridge, 3 pieces of white paper in his hands. "What is that, sensei?" asked Sakura. Kakashi smiled at his team. "Your entrance into the Chunin exams. As a group of 3 you can participate in them. I have no doubt all of you will make it into the final round. You are the most gifted, of course," said Kakashi. Naruto and Sasuke both smiled at each other. Sakura smiled with them. "So what do we need to do?" asked Sasuke. Kakashi flicked the paper at them. The team each plucked their paper out of the air. "Sign those forms and bring them with you to the academy on Friday," said Kakashi. Naruto frowned slightly. "How long have you had these?" asked Naruto. Kakashi smiled slightly. "Well, you guys have the rest of the day off," said Kakashi before he disappeared. Naruto sighed and pulled a pen seemingly out of thin air. "How do you do that?" asked Sakura. Naruto held out his pen once he had signed his name. "Do what?" asked Naruto simply. Sakura sighed and shook her head. "So we are going to do it then," said Sakura softly. Naruto nodded and Sasuke did the same. "Why not? We are each of Chunin or higher," said Sasuke. Naruto nodded in agreement. "Plus our teamwork is second to none," said Naruto simply. Sakura nodded nervously. She signed her paper and scowled slightly. "So what are you guys doing for the rest of the day?" asked Sakura. Naruto sighed and placed his hands in his pockets. "I am off to the bookstore. I need some help with a seal I am creating," said Naruto. Sasuke and Sakura raised their eyebrows. "Making your own seal?" questioned Sasuke, shocked slightly. Naruto nodded. "I still have a lot to learn, but hopefully this seal will be a good first," said Naruto. He nodded to his teammates and walked towards town. "Sasuke-kun, do you really think we can do it, become Chunin?" asked Sakura. Sasuke nodded his head seriously. "Sure, you are much stronger than before, remember that," said Sasuke as he walked off in the opposite direction. Sakura sighed and walked towards town. "He is still so cold," thought Sakura. Naruto walked through town with his hands in his pockets, a thoughtful look in his eyes. "This seal is so fucking difficult," Naruto thought to himself. He rounded the corner and watched as a boy wearing makeup and black pajamas with cat ears lift up a young child by the front of his t-shirt. The young boy's hair was poking out of a gray helmet. He was wearing a long teal scarf that dragged along the floor. He wore a yellow t-shirt and gray pants. "Please get off," said the boy. The older boy just smirked. "You bumped into me, you little snot. Now I am going to kick your little head in," said the older boy. The kid whimpered. "Kankura, just stop it, we need to get back," said a blonde-haired girl. Naruto glared as he stepped forward. "I suggest you listen to the pretty girl, or lose your arm," said Naruto coolly. Everyone looked at him in shock. Temari felt her eyes widen slightly. "Wow, Konoha has some lookers," she thought. She watched as Kankuro got a mischievous smirk on his face. "I'll be with you in a minute, pretty boy," Kankuro chuckled. He raised a hand to strike the young boy across the face, when suddenly a hand appeared, clutching his fist tightly. Kankuro raised his eyebrow and looked impressed. Hitting this kid's hand is like hitting a steel wall, Kankuro thought. The girl looked at the redhead with shock. Strong too, and his speed, she thought. The little child looked at Naruto with respect. "Last warning, or I won't hesitate to chop your arms off and beat you with them. And you can get out of that tree," said Naruto coldly, his fingers deftly throwing a kunai and piercing the trunk of the tree. The blonde-haired girl and Kankuro both looked at the tree in shock as a redhead appeared. They shivered in fear as his cold eyes leveled them. "Temari, Kankuro, what an embarrassment," said the redhead. Kankuro dropped the boy and stood back in fear. Temari looked at the unaffected face of Naruto and frowned. He sensed Gaara coming, and he caught Kankuro's fist like it was nothing. "This kid is no pushover," Temari thought. Naruto pushed the kid behind him slightly as he stepped back. Sand spun on the floor as the redhead moved in front of the 2 others. "I am sorry for my siblings' arrogance and idiocy," said the redhead. Naruto simply glared slightly. Everyone could feel the tension charge the air. "No problem, just remember you are on Konoha soil. Discrepancies like this will not be tolerated," said Naruto, his eyes challenging but his face calm. "Of course," said the redhead. He turned and gave his siblings a glare, causing them to freeze slightly. "Now, enjoy your stay and good luck in the Chunin exam," said Naruto calmly. The redhead looked at him. "What is your name?" asked the redhead. Naruto smirked slightly, his face unchanging. "Tell me yours and I will tell you mine," said Naruto simply. Gaara glared slightly, but was miffed when it didn't affect Naruto. "Gaara Sabaku," said Gaara, his voice emotionless. Naruto rubbed a hand through his hair. "Naruto Uzumaki," said Naruto. Gaara smirked viciously. "You'll be the one I kill," said Gaara. Naruto smirked viciously in return. Is that right? Then I eagerly await your challenge in the Chunin exam, said Naruto. Gaara spun and walked off. Sand moved around him in agitation. Naruto ignored the glare from the boy in makeup, and raised an eyebrow as the girl winked at him. He turned and saw the boy looking at him with adoration. Why, you're so cool, Naruto-san, said the young boy. Naruto rolled his eyes. Thanks, kid. So what did you do? asked Naruto. The boy blinked slightly. I am late for lunch with my gramps, and I bumped into Pajama Guy, said the young boy. Naruto sighed and held his hand out to the boy. Where were you going to eat? asked Naruto. The boy looked at the hand suspiciously. Ichiraku ramen, said the boy. Naruto nodded. He shook his hand impatiently. The boy took a step back slightly. Naruto sighed and reached forward. Clasping the boy's hand, he threw him onto his back. The boy looked at Naruto in shock and slight fear. Hold on, commanded Naruto, and in a blur Naruto landed on a lamppost. The young boy had his eyes wide. That was totally awesome, again said the boy with laughter, his arms fisting Naruto's coat tightly. Okay then, said Naruto. The boy watched as Naruto crouched, his hand touching the lamppost. He did a little jump upwards and the boy watched as the world blurred. They landed on a building. Naruto repeated the process of touching the ground and doing a small jump and they would disappear once again. They landed outside of Ichiraku's, dust on the ground blowing outward slightly. Naruto straightened and felt the boy shaking slightly. Naruto turned his head slightly. What he saw made him smirk. The boy's mouth was wide. Naruto, what are you? Konohamaru called Sarutobi as he stepped out of Ichiraku. Naruto just gave Sarutobi a cool look. I was just bringing this brat to see his gramps. He asked me to go fast again, so I did, said Naruto. Sarutobi stepped forward in shock and pulled the frozen Konohamaru off Naruto. You shouldn't go your fastest. Others' bodies aren't used to traveling at such speeds, said Sarutobi. Naruto shrugged. Are you gonna tell his grandpa or should I, said Naruto calmly. Sarutobi smirked. I already know, and let's just say, his grandpa's annoyed, said Sarutobi. Naruto smirked slightly. So this brat is related to you. I didn't think Azuma-sensei had any kids, said Naruto. Sarutobi sighed. No, this is a product of my other son, said Sarutobi. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Product? Questioned Naruto. Sarutobi chuckled. He is quite a handful, in fact he hasn't been this quiet ever, chuckled Sarutobi. Naruto sighed and turned to walk away. Oh, quick question, and I know this is from a while ago, but what happened to my apartment? With everything that happened I didn't get a chance to ask, said Naruto. Sarutobi's face darkened. 3 Ninja thought it would be good to torch the place, hoping you were inside. Thankfully you were away. I had them killed and the place was just left as it was, serving as a reminder that arrogance will not be tolerated. Don't worry, not many people knew it was your residence, said Sarutobi. Naruto sighed. But the writing on the wall, asked Naruto. Sarutobi sighed. Chakra-infused blood of a poor fox kid. Thankfully it slowly washed away, but no amount of scrubbing could get rid of it on the day of, so after a long thought I decided to just tear down the building, said Sarutobi. Naruto felt the Kyuubi growl in anger. Naruto nodded and walked away. Konohamaru's glassy eyes focused slightly. Ah, Gramps, who is Naruto? He was so cool, said Konohamaru in excitement. Sarutobi sighed and felt a headache go through his head. Why? Questioned Sarutobi. Konohamaru smirked. I am going to get him to train me, said Konohamaru. Sarutobi sighed and put Konohamaru onto the ground. He moved into Ichiraku. He watched as Konohamaru crouched on the ground slightly, his hand touching the floor. He jumped forward and crashed into the table inside Ichiraku. Sarutobi shook his head as Konohamaru clutched his head on the ground. Naruto, look what you have started, thought Sarutobi in exasperation. Naruto walked through the library with a tuneless whistle leaving his lips. Members of the public simply shushed him and carried on browsing. Naruto's hands were in his pockets as his eyes moved over the rows and rows of books. He walked towards the nature section when he held out his arms as Hinata bumped into him. She looked up in shock and then flushed instantly. Naruto-kun. Hello, she whispered. Naruto smiled slightly and steadied her. Careful which way you walk, Hinata-kun, said Naruto simply. Hinata nodded and looked at the books in her hands. Naruto's eyes drifted down, to which they read Courage, Surviving in the Ninja World and How to Gain Confidence in Oneself. Naruto rolled his eyes and plucked the books out of her grasp. No, whispered Hinata. Naruto sighed and placed the books on a table close by. Follow me, Hinata-kun, said Naruto, and without a look back he walked towards the door. Hinata wordlessly followed him, and as she exited the library she watched as he moved to the alleyway close by. Hinata dashed quickly, not wanting to lose sight, unless she have to use the Byakugan. As she got into the alley, she blinked as Naruto was crackling with yellow lightning, his hand held out, his face was soft and calm. Where are we going, whispered Hinata. Naruto smiled slightly. I am going to help you gain courage, said Naruto. Hinata was wary as her shaking hand slid into his. Hinata blinked as the wind blew at her. She clutched at Naruto's black coat, her body flushed against his. They were both stood on the highest spike of the fourth Hokage's stone hair. The village looked tiny beneath them. And Naruto-kun, whispered Hinata, though it was lost on Naruto as the harsh wind blew at them. Naruto's coat blew wildly in the wind, making him look like a specter. Hinata, think of the harsh wind, rushing over the village, how it just flows hidden to those below, said Naruto. His voice was echoing in her head, it was like he was the only thing she could hear, the wind had become muted. And Naruto-kun, she stuttered. Naruto smiled slightly. The wind, it's so free, moving wherever it desires, swallowing up everything in its path, Naruto said, his arms clutched around Hinata. Hinata noticed the closeness of their bodies, she blushed and felt her vision swim. Courage, Naruto? Questioned Hinata. Naruto seemed to blink out of his daze. You are strong, Hinata, people think because you are quiet, you are weak. You are not, believe me, said Naruto. Hinata frowned slightly. Naruto, I am weak, my clan, and my team. Everyone thinks it, I hate it. We have been entered for the Chunin exams, and I don't feel ready at all, said Hinata. Naruto frowned slightly. Your team do not think that, Hinata said Naruto. Hinata shook her head as tears sprang in her eyes. Naruto, I am weak, I was saved on our last mission, I could do nothing. I don't know why anyone bothers, said Hinata. Naruto felt a small scowl fall onto his face. Someone had clearly made this kind girl lose any sense of self she had. Hinata blinked in shock as she found herself at the training grounds. Naruto was stood a meter away, his hair covering his bowed head. Spar with me, Hinata said Naruto simply, his hands in his pockets. Hinata dropped into the Hyuga stance, and with a dash she attempted to close off Naruto's tenketsu. Naruto dodged each of her strikes effortlessly, his body was moving lightly through each attack she sent forward. Naruto pulled out his hand and began slapping away her strikes. Hinata was becoming quickly downhearted, she was hoping to show Naruto how much she had improved even slightly, her body set to automatically show Naruto she was worthy, only for him to simply hit away her attacks. They continued for an hour. Hinata was tiring quickly, she was saddened by how easy Naruto was deflecting her blow. She sent a strike out, Naruto caught her elbow slightly. You aren't attacking aggressively enough, said Naruto simply. Hinata nodded with a blush and put more force behind her attacks. Naruto spun slightly, the blow sliding past his chest. Hinata's hair blew slightly as Naruto turned into a blur. Hinata blinked as a kunai slid beneath her neck. And Naruto-kun, gasped Hinata, shocked. Naruto blurred once more. He stood in front of her with an apology in his eyes, his face calm. Sorry, I wanted to show you how much your attacks are lacking in strength, said Naruto simply. Hinata felt crushed slightly. Her father's words echoed through her head. Weak, you'll amount to nothing, echoed his voice harshly. Hinata felt tears slide down her cheeks. She watched as Naruto's eyes grew wide, understanding within his silver eyes. Hinata-kun, I didn't mean it like that. You don't attack, you lack confidence, your skill is amazing, believe me, I am trying to show you aren't weak, said Naruto softly. Hinata shook slightly, her sleeves moving to her face to wipe away her tears. Sorry. I really am weak, whispered Hinata. Naruto sighed in exasperation. He remembered his grandfather giving him an ultimatum, a means to drive himself. Hinata, if you want to be my friend, then you will hit me, you have half an hour, if you don't hit me. I won't ever want to talk to you again, said Naruto calmly. Hinata felt her heart shudder, sadness racked through her body. Tears flew freely down her face. Sorry. I stuttered Hinata. Naruto just stood uncaring. If you won't attack me, I will attack first, said Naruto. Hinata blinked in shock, she was hit backwards, her legs collapsing beneath her. Naruto looked down on her, his eyes cold. Hinata felt someone pull her up harshly, she looked into Naruto's ice-cool gaze with a whimper. Come on, Hinata-kun, fight through it, Naruto thought in his head, he was careful not to show the emotion in his eyes. Hinata felt her heart shatter as Naruto simply dropped her. Not worth my time, said Naruto harshly. Hinata cried. Naruto walked through the tree line, his eyes sad. He left me, all alone. He's right, I'm not worth his time. But all those times he was kind, was it just a lie, thought Hinata with sadness. Hinata-kun, please call me back, I don't think I can walk away, thought Naruto, his heart aching in a way he did not recognize. Naruto, wait, she called, her voice steadying. Naruto walked through the tree line, his face cold. What, said Naruto? Hinata dropped into her clan stance. Come, she said, her voice wobbling slightly. Naruto smirked and blurred. Hinata activated her Byakugan and ducked backward slightly. Naruto's casual palm slipped over her head. She realized though, with hidden horror, that if Naruto was to have hit her with that, she would have died instantly. Better, said Naruto simply. Hinata moved gracefully, her hands jabbing forward harshly. Naruto smirked as he dodged the blows. I will prove to him that I am worth his time, she chanted in her head. Naruto swiftly dodged the blows and Hinata pushed forward. Naruto smirked as a pair of fingers slipped past his cheek. He twisted his head to dodge the other. The blows were getting closer. Hinata changed her stance slightly. Naruto smiled slightly. Using my style? Questioned Naruto. Hinata just dashed forward. Naruto felt a strike hit his knee. It buckled as chakra pulsed through it. Hinata then thrust two palms against Naruto's chest. The chakra output exploded outwards behind him. Hinata blinked in shock, Naruto's eyes wide. I actually hit him, thought Hinata with happiness. Naruto collapsed to his knees, his eyes blanked slightly. With her Byakugan activated, she could see a deep purple chakra flow through his body, his tenketsu opening automatically. That actually hurt, said Naruto softly. Hinata gasped and jumped on him, her arms wrapped around his shoulders. Naruto felt tears hit his body. Sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you, said Hinata. Naruto smiled slightly, his face once again calm. It's okay, Hinata-kun. You did as I asked. I am sorry for upsetting you, said Naruto. Hinata nodded and then blushed as she hopped off of Naruto. Sorry, she muttered. Naruto smiled slightly. It's fine, now wanna come get ramen? I haven't been there in a while. Irukani would get mad, said Naruto. Hinata blushed, her eyes open in shock. Sure, said Hinata. Naruto smiled slightly, then his face grew serious. We should also sort out your stutter, that way you can feel more confident, said Naruto. Hinata nodded slowly. Naruto held out his arm chivalrously. Hinata blushed and looked up at Naruto's easy, but calm face. Naruto began telling Hinata the purpose for the test. Hinata felt her confidence grow slightly. Sakura sighed as she got out of the hospital. She had a few scrolls tucked beneath her arms. She was excelling at medic chakra. The people at the hospital were shocked to see she had almost beaten Tsunade's time at healing a medium wound. She still had a lot to learn. She couldn't heal large wounds, and she couldn't replicate the healing process she had done for Haku. She put the scrolls in her weapons pouch. Her outfit had changed slightly, and her hair was tied up in a messy bun, her shirt stopping below the waist. A pair of skin-tight Dan pants was tucked into black-heeled boots. On her hands was a pair of black gloves. She was cramming ready for the Chunin exams. Hey Sakura. Wow, you look good, said Ino. She looked Sakura up and down. Thanks, Ino. So what's up, said Sakura. Ino looked at Sakura seriously. Sakura was calmer. She looked tired, but also she looked happy. Her change in clothes also symbolized her change. Never guess what I just saw, said Ino, wiggling her eyebrows slightly. I don't know, Ino. What, said Sakura, a tired sigh leaving her lips. Ino looked at her sharply. Are you okay, forehead, said Ino. Sakura just yawned widely and placed a palm on her face. No, been training hard, Ino. Kakashi is a real slave driver. We got the Chunin exams coming up and we have enters, said Sakura, partially lying. Cool, we have applied as well, but I don't think we are ready. Really, Azuma-sensei is still helping us perfect our teamwork, said Ino. Sakura raised a delicate pink eyebrow. Really, what about chakra training, asked Sakura. Ino snorted. Of course we have done tree climbing, but it's slow going. We each have problems with our chakra control, said Ino. Sakura nodded seriously. She felt like bragging about her team, but decided against it. Knowing Sasuke and Naruto wouldn't appreciate it. Anyway, what did you see? Asked Sakura. Ino seemed to blink before she smirked widely. I saw Naruto and Hinata walking into Ichiraku Ramen together, said Ino. Sakura raised an eyebrow. So? Questioned Sakura simply. Ino slumped her shoulders slightly. Come on, that's like major news, said Ino. Sakura shrugged her shoulders. They are friends, they hang around all the time, said Sakura. Ino just glared slightly. Whatever, forehead. I am going to spy on Sasuke-kun. Wanna come, asked Ino. Sakura shook her head. Sorry, I am going home, maybe another time, Ino, said Sakura. Ino blinked in shock. Well, that means you are admitting defeat, forehead, said Ino. Sakura just sighed slightly. I am not admitting defeat, I am just tired, said Sakura forcefully. She walked past Ino, tightening the messy bun in her hair. Ino turned and walked towards Sasuke's house. She was turning the corner when she saw Sasuke walking towards her. Oh, Sasuke-kun, called Ino. Sasuke sighed slightly and looked at Ino with a glare. What, he said harshly. Ino smirked. Sakura has given up on you, so we can be together now, said Ino. Sasuke just sighed. No thanks, said Sasuke. He began walking, his hands shoved into his pockets. Ino followed loyally at his side. Sasuke just ignored her presence completely. As they turned the corner they bumped into Naruto and Hinata. Sasuke took one look at Naruto's face and felt his eyes widen slightly. "Hey Sasuke, I was just on my way, I am just making sure Hinata gets home," said Naruto. Sasuke controlled his expression, he gave a grunt. "I was on my way to the store, you check with Iruka?" asked Sasuke. Naruto nodded. "Yeah, can't be out too late," he said. Naruto chuckled. Ino took in Naruto's calm face, his easy eyes. "He's different," she thought to herself. Hinata blushed slightly as Sasuke's gaze drifted to her. "Don't take too long, idiot," said Sasuke gruffly. Naruto just nodded and motioned for Hinata to walk. She blushed and smiled slightly, Naruto returning with a small smile of his own. They walked in silence, the evening air settled comfortably around them. "So we should do this again sometime," said Naruto. Hinata gave a nod and smile. I would like that," said Hinata. Naruto hugged her briefly and smiled. "Good night," said Naruto softly. He walked back the way he came. Hinata smiled slightly at his back. "Good night Naruto-kun," she whispered. The birds were chirping in the cool morning air. Naruto was walking through the leaf village, a polystyrene cup in his hand. Steam rose from the cup and twisted elegantly in the air. His coat was slung over his shoulder, his tanto threw over the other shoulder. He was late for meeting with his team at the academy gates. He took another sip of his coffee and sighed as he walked past an upside-down piece of fence. "Stop following me, brat, I don't have time for you today," said Naruto. He had gained a fan in the form of Konohamaru Sarutobi. Konohamaru had stalked him all day yesterday. He had tried doing Naruto's signature speed dash only to jump into the multitude of things lying around. The boy was sporting a bruised face and scratched helmet. "Where are you going, boss?" asked Konohamaru in excitement as he dropped the mirage. Naruto rolled his eyes. "If you must know, I am on my way to the academy to begin the Chunin exam," said Naruto calmly. He smirked as Konohamaru tried to school his expression into a calm one. "Really? Then good luck," said Konohamaru in a blatant fake calm, his eyes twinkling in excitement. His face was threatening to break into a massive grin. "See you later, Konohamaru," said Naruto. He was about to walk forward when he felt a killing intent focused on him. Konohamaru was shaking slightly, a killing pressure had leveled the empty street. "Boss," whispered Konohamaru in fear. Naruto looked at him coolly. "Isn't it a bit early for you to be out, Konohamaru?" said Naruto. Konohamaru nodded and turned and ran. He glanced over his shoulder. On the roof of one of the buildings, a redhead stood with a gourd on his back. He wore a combination of black and fishnet, along with a white sash. Konohamaru watched as Naruto crouched, his hand touching the floor. He jumped and in a blur he was gone. Naruto landed gracefully on the roof of the building. "Gaara-san, lovely morning isn't it?" said Naruto, his eyes cold. Gaara looked at him with an equally cold expression. You are strong," said Gaara. Naruto stood with his hands in his pockets, his coat still slung over his shoulder, his tanto threw over the other shoulder. His coffee discarded in the street. "Perhaps, what is it to you?" said Naruto. Gaara smirked viciously. "Just making sure, I don't want to kill a weakling," said Gaara, his chakra leaking into the air. Naruto felt the Kyuubi stir. "Interesting," said the Kyuubi. Naruto looked at Gaara. "Care to share?" questioned Naruto. The Kyuubi snorted. "Surprises are good for you," said the Kyuubi mockingly. Naruto just rolled his eyes. Gaara looked at Naruto with a menacing stare. "Yes, your blood will do lovely," said Gaara in a hushed tone. Naruto tensed. Gaara blurred and appeared next to Naruto. Naruto stood with a small smile on his calm face. "Fast," said Naruto. Gaara chuckled a menacing chuckle. "I will see you on the battlefield, Uzumaki. I will bathe in your blood," said Gaara before he disappeared, leaving a shimmer of dust in his wake. Naruto sighed. He chucked his tanto and belt high into the sky. He pulled his coat off of his back and with a graceful twirl, his hand slipped through the sleeves. He flicked his arms, causing the back of the trench coat to billow. He snatched the tanto and belt as it fell behind him. In one motion he clipped the belt in place. His tanto sat comfortably on his lower back. His coat fell down casually, covering his tanto. Naruto pulled out his headband from his pocket. He latched it to his upper arm and tied it tightly, sighing and rubbing a hand through his hair, ruffling it slightly. His horn stood proud. He crouched and touched the floor. He jumped, one knee bent, his other foot just leaving the floor. He blurred and was gone, the air kicking up slightly. Naruto landed in the courtyard of the academy. He landed one foot placed gracefully first, his bent knee straightened and his boot touched the ground softly, his coat billowing behind him. "Such an epic entrance," said Sasuke, a smirk plastered on his face. Sakura chuckled slightly. "Late enough, Naruto?" asked Sakura. Naruto sighed. "Sorry, got lost on the Naruto started but was cut off by Sasuke. Finish that and I will rip your throat out, said Sasuke with a glare. Naruto sighed once more. I had to deal with Konohamaru and a murderous Sennin, said Naruto as he moved past Sasuke and Sakura. God, was he following you again this morning, said Sakura, a sigh on her lips. Yeah, I swear that boy gets up earlier than I do, said Naruto. Sasuke chuckled briefly and Sakura gave a small smile. So are you going to train him? Asked Sakura. Naruto heaved a sigh. Probably show him a thing or two, but he keeps trying to do my speed move, said Naruto. Sasuke raised an eyebrow. The one where you have to touch the ground? Asked Sasuke. Naruto nodded. He motioned for his teammates to move through the door. Yeah, but the poor little brat doesn't realize he has the wrong blood for that move, said Naruto. Sasuke nodded seriously. He too had tried to replicate Naruto's speed dash, only to fall flat on his face. Naruto was in hysterics, saying he used his blue fire. Sakura sighed. So what's the game plan? She asked softly. Naruto looked at Sasuke. We help our own village, everyone else is expendable, said Sasuke. Naruto nodded slightly. But remember, in this, everyone is competition. Show Konohamaru mercy, but still, we must win, Naruto said calmly into the quiet hallway. As they moved up another flight of stairs, Sasuke frowned and Sakura looked at the classroom door on the next floor as it became visible. Genjutsu, she whispered to her team. I would say leave it, but there are a few Konohanins there, said Naruto. Sasuke grunted and motioned for Sakura and Naruto. Please just let us through, said a girl pleadingly. She had short brown hair pulled into two buns. Her t-shirt was pink and sleeveless. She also wore green pants and blue Shinobi sandals. Please, you all look weak. These exams are only for the strong. Just walk away, little girl, said one of the boys blocking the door. He had black spiky hair and 3 bandages on his face. That's not fair. We have already waited a year, said the girl. Naruto sighed and crossed his arms and leant against the wall as Sasuke and Sakura both took a step forward. A boy with pale eyes and long brown hair looked at Naruto with a glare. Release the genjutsu, said Sasuke. Sakura crossed her arms and glared at the two boys. What genjutsu was being murmured around the people gathered? Sasuke smiled a superior smirk and Naruto just blew some of his hair out of his eyes, his face blank of any expression. Sakura, tell them, you spotted it first, said Sasuke. Sakura smiled slightly. We are only on the 2nd floor, yet the number on the top of the door says 31, said Sakura. The two kids blocking the door glared slightly. You have just told all the weak ones the trick. This was to weed out the weak, said the other boy. He had a bandana covering his entire head, hair poked down the middle of his head and 2 long bangs at the side. Just drop the genjutsu, said Sasuke. The boy raised a ram seal and the door marker morphed, revealing the true number. So you spotted the genjutsu, but these tests can kill ya, said the bandaged boy. He threw a heavy kick to Sasuke. Sasuke made a move to kick as well, when suddenly 2 strong hands were holding him still. Fast indeed, and physically strong. Naruto thought to himself, the brown-haired boy tisked. I thought we were not going to reveal or draw too much attention to ourselves, said the brown-haired boy. Stood in between Sasuke and the boy blocking the door was a boy dressed in a full green bodysuit. He was wearing orange leg warmers, his arms were bandaged to the elbow. His headband was being used as a belt. His hair was a slick black, and cut into a bowl style. I am sorry, Neji, said the boy. Neji just scowled and threw a glare at Naruto. Let's just go, Tenten, Lee, said Neji. He threw a final glare at Naruto before turning with a swift twirl. Lee looked at Sakura, and Naruto snickered, his face still calm and blank, as hearts practically appeared in Lee's eyes. You must be the beautiful Sakura-kun, said Lee. Sakura blushed slightly but otherwise ignored Lee. And what if I am, she said simply. Lee stood and striking a pose, his thumb out and a smile on his face. He looked at Sakura with passion flickering in his eyes. Then please allow me to be your boyfriend. I will protect you with my life and will allow no harm to befall you, said Lee. Sakura sighed slightly, tightening the messy bun on her head. Sorry, Lee, but I cannot accept, said Sakura politely. Lee got fake tears and looked at Sakura pleadingly. Is it because I have a rival for your heart? Please tell me who it is, so I can challenge them for my Sakura-kun's heart, said Lee. Sasuke just snorted and Naruto shook his head. Lee, let's just go, said Tenten. She began pulling Lee away, when Lee's eyes suddenly met Sasuke's. You are Sasuke Uchiha, aren't you, said Lee. Neji turned around and looked at Sasuke with a glare. And so what if I am, said Sasuke. Naruto saw the fire in Lee's eyes. Now, as lovely as this is, I do believe we have an exam to attend, said Naruto, stepping in the middle of the other team and his own team. His cool and calm gaze passed over Neji, Lee, and Tenten. Who are you red-haireds? asked Lee. Naruto just looked at the other team with a bored expression. "It doesn't matter who I am, let's just get to the exam," said Naruto. Lee frowned and gave Sasuke a meaningful look. Sasuke just snorted. "Lee, let's leave these babies to the exam," said Neji, sneering at Team 7. Sakura just blanked her face and tightened her gloves. Sasuke ignored him in favor of looking at the door they were stood in front of. Naruto was simply looking bored. "Sure, whatever, let's go guys," said Naruto calmly. They moved through Neji's team and began walking towards the next set of stairs. "What is your name?" Redhead asked Neji. Naruto turned his head slightly, and gave shrug. "None of your business," said Naruto simply as he walked up the stairs. Naruto sighed as Team 7 walked through the large hall before the third-year assembly hall. The classrooms could be seen at the end of the large square hall. "Wait," called a familiar voice. Team 7 stopped. Naruto rolled his eyes. A growl rumbled in his chest. Sasuke and Sakura looked at him with wide eyes. "Sorry," mumbled Naruto. His calm face looked towards Lee running towards them. His green jumpsuit and orange leg warmers stood out in the dim hallways. "Sasuke Uchiha, I wish to challenge you to a fight," said Lee. Naruto just groaned slightly and Sakura, overhearing him, giggled slightly. Sasuke smirked and stepped forward. "You honestly think you can beat me?" said Sasuke. Lee flushed slightly, his eyes growing with fire burning deep. "I am the highest scoring Chunin of my year. I wish to test myself against another rookie of the year," said Lee. Naruto turned and simply leaned against the pillar that was holding the roof up. Sakura watched as Sasuke smirked slightly. "Good, I have been eagerly waiting to use this in a real fight," said Sasuke, his eyes morphing into the Sharingan. Sakura just shook her head and moved to stand next to Naruto, her arms crossed. "Sasuke-kun, make it quick, we don't have all day," said Sakura. Naruto just watched the fight with a calm face. Sasuke dropped into the Uchiha stance. Lee stood with one hand behind his back, the other out towards Sasuke. "Come," said Sasuke. He blinked in shock. Lee had disappeared and landed a couple of punches on him. Sasuke spun his body, a kick flying beneath his body. He landed on 2 feet and flipped backwards onto his hands. Lee followed him, sending constant punches. Sasuke landed on his feet, his Sharingan whirled. 1 tomoe was in his left eye, and in his right was 2 tomos. He dodged his head to the side as Lee sent a forceful punch. Sasuke spun around, moving backwards. He ducked his head low, a kick flying over him. "I can do nothing but defend. I am an Uchiha," yelled Sasuke angrily in his mind. He instantly grabbed the fist as it flew at him. He winced inwardly as Lee's strong fist hit his palm. He spun, twisting Lee's arm. He tugged on the arm and Lee fell to his knees. Sasuke twisted the hand slightly and kicked Lee in the face. Lee bent backwards from the force, wincing as his arm was jarred, his joint aching in protest. Sasuke flicked his body around Lee, not releasing his arm. Sasuke's hand found its way into Lee's hair, and with a harsh tug he slammed Lee's head into the ground. Sasuke stood over the dazed Lee, rubbing a forming bruise on his cheek. Lee spun his legs around, his body spinning. Sasuke jumped backwards as Lee spun onto his hands, his legs outwards spinning in a circle. Lee backward flipped onto his feet, his body moving easily into his fighting stance. "That was a sneaky tactic, Uchiha-san. I didn't peg you for the grappling kind," said Lee. Naruto looked at Sasuke sharply, watching the anger roll across his face. Sasuke charged forward, changing from defense to attack. Lee dodged each of Sasuke's shots easily. Lee sent a series of punches at Sasuke. Sasuke felt the rock-hard punches hit him hard. His strength is not as strong as Naruto's, but he feels more fluent. His attacks are more precise, Sasuke thought. Lee sent a few more attacks, each hitting Sasuke with precision. Sasuke tried to fight back vainly. Lee struck Sasuke hard. Sasuke bent backwards slightly, and felt a foot force him into the air. Lee appeared beneath him, both flying through the air. Sakura watched as Naruto rubbed a hand through his hair and hissed. "Enough," said Naruto loudly. He dropped to the floor swiftly, his hand hitting the floor with a thump. He jumped and blurred. Lee was about to wrap Sasuke up with the bandages on his arm when he felt a fist clench the back of his collar. He chocked slightly, and was forced diagonally to the floor. Sasuke watched as a boot appeared at his waist. He felt a force rocket him down towards the floor. Sakura caught Sasuke as he was thrown towards her. She was wide-eyed at Naruto's grace. She thought Sasuke was a graceful fighter, but in comparison to Naruto, Sasuke was uncoordinated. Naruto was suspended in mid-air briefly. His coat was billowed outwards, his face composed, his arm was outstretched, the other in his pocket. Naruto landed on the ground gracefully. Sasuke stood to his feet in a daze. He took one look at Naruto and glared. Lee stood with a fire in his eyes. He dashed at Naruto, expecting an easy win. Naruto simply caught Lee's arm and held it outwards, Lee falling into him. Lee felt a knee slam into his stomach. Lee doubled over in pain, his arm was released and he fell onto his hands coughing violently. "Naruto, you dare!" started Sasuke, but he was cut off with an icy look from Naruto. "You are both Leaf Ninja, and yet you both so willingly fought each other. Sasuke, you are clearly outmatched because you underestimated your opponent. Lee, you are the dead last of your year, correct? Then why did you pick a fight deliberately?" said Naruto coolly. Naruto heard loud clapping and his eyebrow rose as a Lee copy walked forward. "I couldn't have said it better myself," said the man. He was tall, he wore a green jumpsuit and orange leg warmers, his hair was the same bowl cut, and he wore a Konoha Jonin vest. "And you are?" said Naruto coldly, his eyes assessing the situation. "I am here to find my protege, but it seems you have stopped him for me," said Guy. Naruto spun, his coat moving blowing outward. "Whatever, Sasuke, Sakura, let's go," said Naruto. He passed Sasuke with his hands in his pockets. Sasuke glared at Naruto. Naruto just leveled him with a cool look. Sakura pushed Sasuke forward slightly, she was shaking her head. Team 7 walked towards the room silently. Sakura was healing the bruises Sasuke had. Naruto just powered forward. "Why did you stop me?" asked Sasuke angrily. Naruto hissed and promptly ignored Sasuke. They got to the classroom and saw Kakashi leaning against the wall. "What was all that racket?" questioned Kakashi innocently. Naruto simply shook his head. "Two hot-headed and irresponsible morons decided to duke it out," said Naruto. Kakashi smirked at Sasuke's indignant face, and Sakura's smirk. "Hot-headed, must be Lee-kun." "Sasuke, did you have fun?" questioned Kakashi. Sasuke glared and huffed. "He was beaten, I had to intervene before it got out of hand," said Naruto. Kakashi sighed and nodded, he closed his book and stood tall. "Well, Team 7, beyond this door is every other hopeful Chunin from all over the world. There is no doubt in my mind that you belong in these exams, but don't grow complacent, that is all. Good luck," said Kakashi. He patted each of his students and walked the way Team 7 had just come from. They each looked at the door. "Let's go," said Sasuke confidently. He stood in the center of the team. Naruto was stood with his arms crossed, his head bowed, his eyes closed. Sakura tightened her gloves. They were the picture of the perfect team. As the door was thrown open, the room grew silent. It was filled with people of different ages, some had scars, and others looked battle-worn. Everyone took one look at Team 7 and just ignored them and returned to talking. A few looked at Sasuke with a critical eye, the way he unabashedly wore the Uchiha symbol and his looks. They each wanted to test themselves against the last Uchiha. The few educated ones and many shinobi from Karakura spotted Naruto and his red hair. Whispers of his defeating of Zabuzamomochi had spread far. They were possibly more eager than Sasuke's opponents. Naruto simply walked through the doorway with a calm look upon his face. Sasuke was glaring at each person who would dare look at him. Sakura was just sighing lightly every time Sasuke did so. "God, Naruto, you and your team late enough?" asked a tired voice. Naruto turned and looked at Shikamaru and his team walking towards them. "Possibly, we could have been later, but I saved Sasuke the embarrassment of actually losing to a boy with no chakra," said Naruto calmly. Shikamaru raised an eyebrow. "Really, the Uchiha prodigy losing his touch?" questioned Shikamaru. Naruto smirked slightly. "No, overconfident maybe," said Naruto calmly. Shikamaru nodded and took in Naruto's changes. Naruto's face was stony, but calm. His hair was as red as ever, and his clothes hadn't changed. Naruto sighed and Shikamaru felt a killing intent slightly. It was directed at Naruto. He turned to see another redhead glaring at Naruto. "Gah, redheads, so angry," sighed Shikamaru. Naruto snorted. "Too true," said Naruto simply. Shikamaru smiled at Naruto. They both turned to see Sakura fighting off Ino. Sasuke was stood glaring in between them. "Sorry about that," said Shikamaru. Naruto shrugged. "I am not their warden," said Naruto simply. Shikamaru chuckled. "It is you guys, looks like the rookies are together again," said Kiba's voice boisterously. Naruto turned his head quickly and spotted Hinata smiling at him slightly. Naruto gracefully moved around Shikamaru and walked to Hinata. Sasuke and Sakura both noticed Naruto's stony face soften. It was still calm, but it wasn't as intimidating. "Hey Hinata-kun," said Naruto softly. Hinata smiled at him. "Hi Naruto-kun," said Hinata. Her face flushed. Everyone noted how her face didn't get as red as usual, and she answered Naruto without stuttering. "How are things? I haven't seen you in a couple of days," questioned Naruto softly. Hinata flushed brighter slightly. I have been busy training." "Sorry Naruto-kun," said Hinata. Naruto smiled slightly, but the small smile lit his stony face. The rest of the rookies promptly looked away, each feeling as if they were unwanted in the conversation. "God, Naruto's changed," murmured Kiba. Sasuke snorted. "You have no idea, dog," said Sasuke. Kiba growled under his breath. Don't start Uchiha, I could run rings around you, growled Kiba. Sasuke noted how Kiba's growl was different from Naruto's rumble. Yeah, because you are chasing your own damn tail, moron, smirked Sasuke. Kiba yelled and went to lunge forward when Shino put a restraining hand on his shoulder. Kiba, relax, said Shino bluntly. Kiba turned to look at Naruto and Hinata talking. Naruto's face was blank except for the small smile tugging at his lips and the glittering in his eyes. Hinata was a lot less red-faced and was smiling also. When did they get so close, said Kiba. He heard Sasuke snort once more and felt his eyes shrink into a scowl. He turned back to glare at Sasuke. Don't look at me like that, they are always together, said Sasuke. He scowled as Ino and Sakura fought behind him. Shikamaru and Choji were just silent. You guys should be a lot quieter, you are drawing attention to yourselves, said a soft voice behind them. Everyone except Hinata and Naruto turned to see a silver-haired boy with large framed glasses and a leaf headband walking towards them. He had an easy smile on his face. And you are, asked Sasuke bluntly. The boy looked at Sasuke speculatively, before he smiled friendly. I am Kabuto Yakushi, I am a Genin of Konoha, obviously, said Kabuto. Sasuke glared slightly as Kabuto poked his forehead protector. What do you want, asked Shikamaru with a bored sigh. Kabuto smirked. Well, being that you kids are the rookies, people have their predatory eye on you, and due to the fact the last Uchiha is a member of said group, some are out for blood, said Kabuto. Naruto sighed as he moved to stand next to Sasuke. Hinata went to stand with her team. They had caught up on the days they had missed, both had come to enjoy each other's company. Ah yes, but rookies or not, some Genin, like you for example, get old. No doubt us rookies could beat you, your age and experience means nothing in a fight, said Naruto coolly. Kabuto looked at Naruto with slightly wide eyes. And you are, questioned Kabuto. Naruto raised a red eyebrow, his cool silver eyes taking in Kabuto's appearance. None of your damn business, said Naruto with his calm expression. Kabuto pushed his glasses up his nose slightly and looked at the other Genin. As I was saying, though you are rookies, being a fellow Leaf Nin, I can give you some help, said Kabuto. Kiba looked at Kabuto eagerly. Cool, any help will do, said Kiba in excitement. Naruto simply crossed his arms. Well, I have done this exam a few times, so. But before Kabuto could finish, Naruto and Shikamaru interrupted at the same time. How many? They both questioned. They smirked at each other. Kabuto frowned slightly. Well, this will be my 6th time, said Kabuto. Every other Genin looked shocked. Naruto and Shikamaru both threw each other a look. So these tests must be totally difficult, said Kiba. Choji gulped and Shino just watched as Naruto and Shikamaru seemed to be deep in thought. Kabuto laughed as each of the Genin looked intrigued, except Naruto, Shikamaru, and Shino. Yeah, they are difficult, which is why in all my time in these exams I have been collecting these, said Kabuto. He pulled out a large deck of cards. The rookies looked enthralled. Naruto looked at them with a questioning glance. Wow, they must be extensive, said Ino in wonder. Kabuto chuckled in embarrassment. I even have information on new applicants for this match, said Kabuto. The rookies all looked at each other in excitement. That is so cool, said Sakura. Kiba nodded at her, looking at the cards with awe. So is there anyone you can think of, asked Kabuto. Everyone was thoughtful, when Sasuke spoke up. Rock Lee and Neji Hyuga, said Sasuke. Kabuto smirked as he flipped the top cards. And knowing them by name is easier. Rock Lee, Genin of Konoha, teammates are Tenten Higurashi and Neji Hyuga. He has a rare condition, meaning he has shrunken chakra pathways. He is slowly mastering many different forms of taijutsu, and his physical strength and resistance is higher than Sasuke Uchiha. Do you want mission details, questioned Kabuto. Sasuke shook his head. Unimportant, he grunted. Kabuto nodded slightly. Neji Hyuga, Genin of Konoha, teammates are Tenten Higurashi and Rock Lee, a Hyuga prodigy and last year's Rookie of the Year. He is said to be the best at the Hyuga fighting style and his Byakugan is at its peak, said Kabuto. Sasuke gave a scowl and nodded to himself. Naruto Uzumaki, came an emotionless voice. Sasuke threw a quick glare. Naruto sighed and rubbed a hand through his hair. He was about to comment when Kabuto began talking. Naruto Uzumaki, Genin of Konoha, teammates are Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. His chakra is said to rival that of Kakashi Hatake's, but other than that, he has no discernible traits. He is the weakest of all Genin. His control is minimal and he can barely perform any of the academy jutsu, said Kabuto with a chuckle. This drew snide laughs from people close enough to hear. That card is inaccurate, said Gaara. Naruto smirked slightly. My cards aren't a lie. Speaking of which, where is he? I don't see him anywhere, said Kabuto. He flipped the card to show a picture of a small blonde boy with a large cheesy grin. That's your graduation photo, Hinata chuckled. Her tinkling laugh made Naruto smile slightly. I didn't really get much time to take one before I had to get to school, so they used one of the mid-year photos, said Naruto. Kabuto blinked and looked at Naruto with wider eyes. My cards can't be wrong, said Kabuto. Naruto shrugged. So what villages are here, asked Kiba in excitement. Kabuto shook his head briefly and smiled at Kiba. Well, we have the usual, Suna, Kiri, a few Iwa and some Kumo-jinan, nothing of importance, but there are also a few teams from Grass and other smaller villages. There is even a couple of teams from a fairly primal village called Sound. It's newly founded and probably doesn't have that many strong fighters, said Kabuto. Naruto turned and zoned in on the Sound team, glaring at Kabuto hotly. But in a fight, unpredictability is a strong tactic, said Naruto. Kabuto gave a brief nod. Yes, from a larger village perhaps, but the village is unknown. So. Before Kabuto could finish, a man with bandages covering everything but one eye, a large scarf with a blotched pattern, appeared in front of Kabuto. He threw a punch at Kabuto, who quickly dodged his head backwards. The rookie Jinan relaxed, whilst Kiba and Akamaru winced and covered their ears. Naruto noticed this instantly and watched as Kabuto's glasses cracked from an invisible force. Kabuto fell to his knees, blood flowing out of his ears. Stick this on your card, Sound is here to win, said the other male team member of the Sound group. Naruto tensed as their eyes moved onto the rookies, but before they could move, a large cloud of smoke appeared by the door. Sakura and Ino were helping Kabuto stand when they squeaked. Naruto rolled his eyes as many of the kids shuddered at Iviki's sadistic grin. Quiet down, you little fuckers, test is set to begin. You can all fight later on, said Iviki, leveling the Sound ninja with a glare. Who are you? yelled a voice from the back of the room. Iviki smiled widely, the scar on his face stretching. Naruto just smirked inwardly, knowing the effects that smile would have. I am Iviki Morino, your examiner, said Iviki. Everyone grew silent. Naruto sighed as he sat down in his numbered seat, right in the center of the room. To his left was a random Iwa ninja, and to the right was empty for the moment. He watched as Iviki smirked at him. Naruto gave a cool look his way, causing Iviki to chuckle. Naruto heard the chair next to him move, but he didn't need to look to know who it was. He recognized the chakra signature. Hey Hinata-kun, said Naruto. Hinata gave a chuckle. Hi Naruto-kun, she said lightly. They were about to talk when suddenly Iviki gave a loud cough. Okay fuckers, listen closely, there is a paper test being passed around. You will answer all 10 questions. On the paper is 9 questions, I will ask the 10th in an hour's time. All around the room are examiners. Cheat and they will put a strike against your name. 3 strikes and you and your team will be made to leave the exam. Equally answer a question wrong, it counts as a strike. Answer 2 questions wrong, and it's 4 strikes and your team will be asked to leave. Any more than 2 wrong answers, then you and your team will banned from the Chunin exams forever, said Iviki. Outrage was cried out among the Jinan. Naruto sat with his arms crossed, a smirk tweaking the edge of his lips. But people here have been in the exams before, said Kiba. Iviki smirked menacingly. They never had me as a proctor. The test will start now, said Iviki. Naruto flipped the paper and read through the questions. Question 9. 3 enemies are scouting for you. Your teammates are injured and you have 2 kunai left. If you were to throw one of the kunai and miss the enemy, how is it best to proceed? Naruto thought to himself. He read back through the questions, a pencil tapping in his hands. He heard the examiners scratch their paper, marks against cheaters. Naruto smiled slightly as he watched Hinata answer her questions with relative ease. A few were skipped. Naruto looked up from his paper into the smirking face of Iviki. The little brat is different, cooler, he had moments during training. Looks like it finally took hold, Iviki thought. He watched as Naruto put his pencil down, latched his hands together beneath his chin, his eyes going blank. Iviki watched Naruto closely. Naruto's breathing had slowed, almost as if he was sleeping. Iviki looked at the clock and smirked. Teams were being asked to leave left, right and center. 5 more minutes before the final question, said Iviki. He watched as Naruto blinked and gave Iviki a confident smirk. Naruto's arm moved in a flurry on his paper. The cocky bastard, he knew the point of the test and to stop people copying from him. He waited right till the end, Iviki thought to himself in amusement. Naruto put the pencil on the paper and gave Iviki a small smile. Time's up, put your pens and pencils down. The condition for the final question, I will say the question once, there is no second time to hear it. But the condition is, if you want to hear it, you can. But if you get the question wrong, you will be demoted back to your respective schools, said Iviki. Once more uproar sounded throughout the room. Iviki just raised a hand and silence followed. You can't do that, called out a random Jinan. Iviki smirked. I can, your villages have already agreed. As I was saying, get the question wrong and be demoted for another 3 years, and not be allowed to enter the Chunin exams again. Or you can leave now and try again next year, said Ibiki. Almost instantly hands were raised, people requesting to leave. Teams left by large numbers. Anything else we should know, said one of the sound ninja. Ibiki gave a smirk. If you fail, your whole team fails and goes back to the academy with you, said Ibiki. More hands were raised. I thought we would have a strong batch this time, whispered one of the Chunin examiners. I know, but hey, Ibiki-san is being unfair, answered another. Hinata was sat fiddling with her fingers, and her heart was pounding in her chest. The thought of being parted from her team and Naruto made her heart ache. Whilst she had had a major confidence boost from Naruto over the course of their friendship, the question was putting a lot of strain on her. Her hand went to move when she heard a snort. Like we all care, can't you see we are all going to take the risk, said Sasuke. Naruto bit his tongue to stop himself from correcting Sasuke. Hinata dropped her hand, her mind making its decision. Is he correct then? He watched as a few still looked unsure. Ibiki nodded to himself. Then you all pass, said Ibiki. Naruto smiled slightly as people cried out their surprise. The point of the final question was to test your capacity to do what's necessary for the good of your village, whilst Sasuke said it was about taking risks. That is not entirely correct, it's about whether or not you will do what is necessary, said Naruto. Ibiki nodded seriously. The kid got it in one. It's not about taking risks, just using a jutsu is taking a risk. It's about whether or not you would kill a civilian if they posed a threat to your village. You each posed a threat to your own team, yourselves and your village. You each decided that no matter what you would see it through to the end. A trait needed in a Chunin, said Ibiki. Many called out questions. I'm glad you stuck it out, Hinata. I would be sad to see you miss out on an opportunity, said Naruto softly. Hinata blushed and nodded. Me too, she whispered. Naruto was about to say something else when he groaned lightly. Oh no, he moaned, his face still calm. The window smashed in, causing others to jump in surprise. A large black ball flew to the center of the room, before exploding outwards. 4 kunai in each corner. Anko stood in the center, the black banner claiming the beautiful snake mistress of Konoha. Naruto rolled his eyes. Heads up, boys and girls, this is no time to be celebrating. I'll be your next proctor. Anko Mitarashi. You ready for the second test? Good. Then let's go, follow me, said Anko with a sadistic smirk on her face. Read the room, Anko. You are early, said Ibiki with a grumble. Anko turned to him slightly. You are just sad because you can't spend more time with your adopted little brother, said Anko quietly. Ibiki smirked slightly. Maybe, said Ibiki simply. Anko turned to look at the room and scowled. Ibiki let a lot of you through, but don't worry, because after my exam, this group will be lowered by more than half, said Anko. Jinan blanched in surprise and horror. Anko watched as Naruto spoke with Hinata. His usual cold expression was open and calm. The hopeful Jinan each blanched at the large encroaching forest. Naruto heard Hinata give a small whimper. Naruto watched as Anko lapped up all the fear the Jinan were exuding. The forest of death, the place where little Jinan like yourselves are eaten alive, said Anko with a malicious grin. Surely you are kidding, right, whispered a random Iwa Jinan. Oh, but I am not. Inside this forest you will meet giant tigers, snakes and other assorted monsters. But in this test you will also encounter each other. Each of you will be given a secret scroll. One is earth, the other is heaven. To complete this test, you must get the opposite scroll your team has. So if one team has an earth and another has a heaven, you must fight each other and gain the other's scroll. Once you have one of each, you must get to the tower in the center. You each have 3 days, said Anko. Choji chocked slightly. What about food, whispered Choji. Anko gave a loud boisterous laugh. Eat off the fat of the land, said Anko. Choji gulped and rustled through his food pack. Naruto smiled warmly at Hinata. Well, as warm as he could manage. Don't worry, Hinata-kun, you will do fine, said Naruto softly. Hinata blushed but nodded. Hey, no talking while I am talking, said Anko in annoyance. Naruto rolled his eyes. All you are doing is instilling more fear on us, Jinan. We can handle it, said Naruto coolly. Anko gave a boisterous chuckle. People like you, Uzumaki-kun, leave blood all over this forest, said Anko. She threw a kunai towards Naruto, who simply dodged the blade with a tilt of his head. Anko appeared behind him, a kunai in her hand. She slid it effortlessly by his neck. And yet you still missed the first dot again, said Naruto coolly. Anko smirked. I do so hope you finish this part of the test, brat, said Anko with a menacing whisper. Naruto just sighed and Anko frowned when she saw a kunai slid past her face. I believed you dropped your kunai, hissed the grass nin. Anko smiled slightly. Thank you, Kusa-san, said Anko, though she eyed the ninja suspiciously. She got behind me without me sensing her, thought Anko. She watched the ninja with suspicious eyes. "Now before you start, you must each sign this form," said Anko, holding up the paper. She had swiftly moved back to her original position. "What are they?" asked Asuna Ninja. Anko smiled slightly. "Release forms, so your village can't come and kill me for your death," said Anko, her tone blasé. Janan blanched. Gaara looked at Naruto with a maniacal look. Gaara turned to Anko. "Is killing permitted?" asked Gaara, his tone eager. "Of course, it's not much of a test if you all have to hold back," said Anko seriously. She handed out the paper and saw the Chunin examiners nod in their booths. "Naruto Uzumaki, you are mine," Gaara thought maliciously. Anko sighed as she looked up at the sky. "You and your teams have 5 minutes to decide who the scroll carrier is, and after that they will collect the scroll and your entry point. Good luck, maggots," said Anko before she turned and stood in front of the main gate. Naruto walked with his team to the secluded area just away from the large group. "Who is going to carry the scroll?" asked Sakura. Naruto and Sasuke looked at each other. "Know any useful Fuuin and Jutsu?" asked Sasuke. Naruto raised an eyebrow. "All Fuuin and Jutsu is useful, and yes, in fact, I can seal it into a pocket dimension. We should henge a plain scroll, and I could rig the scroll to explode upon opening. Meaning we deal a blow should the fate be taken," said Naruto. Sasuke nodded. "That's good, that way we can get our other scroll with any hassle, whilst our scroll is protected," said Sasuke. Naruto nodded and stood up. He held out his hand for his team's waiver forms. "Back in a second," said Naruto. Team 7 stood outside their respective gate. Naruto was flicking a kunai in his hand, Sasuke was activating and deactivating his Sharingan, and Sakura was filing, tying her hair into a messy bun, held together with a senbon. "Okay Team 7, good luck," said the Konoha Jonin. The alarm sounded and the gates flew open. Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura each jumped into the trees. They sat crouched and nodded to each other. "Okay, so Naruto sent a clone to the tower, set up the seal. We will get the Heaven Scroll and use the Eternal Chakra Trap to teleport us to the tower," said Sasuke. Naruto and Sakura nodded. A clone appeared next to Naruto. It nodded once and dashed through the trees. Sasuke and Sakura both smirked slightly. Naruto just frowned. "What is it?" asked Naruto simply. Sasuke smirked. "You sent 2 clones, didn't you?" asked Sasuke. Naruto just sighed and rolled his eyes. "Yeah, so the other can watch for our signal and protect the seal," said Naruto. Sasuke nodded, accepting the answer. They dashed through the trees, appearing only to stop and check their position. As they stopped, a cry of pain was heard throughout the forest. "One down," murmured Sasuke. Naruto gave a nod. He sent out his chakra, sensing the area for a team. Almost instantly, 3 chakra signatures were felt up ahead. "A team of 3," said Naruto. Sakura nodded with surprise. Sasuke smirked confidently. "I got this, stay here," said Sasuke. Naruto moved to stop him, only for Sasuke to hop out of the tree. Sasuke landed in the small clearing, a confident smirk plastered on his face. Iwa Jinan stepped out of the bushes. "Damn, we were hoping for the redhead," said the tallest ninja. Sasuke frowned slightly. "Why would you want Naruto?" questioned Sasuke. The female gave a snort. "Come now, he has the face of our nation's enemy, Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage," said the girl. Sasuke froze. The image of the 4th Hokage flashed through his mind. It was a picture his father owned. It was a blonde man stood next to his father. The blonde had a small smile on his calm and cool face. His father was just smirking at the camera. Sasuke saw it immediately. "You honestly didn't know," said the tallest male. His silver hair was spiked up. He never said Sasuke. The girl snorted. "Because his father was a failure and was killed by the Kyuubi no Yoko," said the girl. Sakura was just stood with wide eyes. She had hopped down to back up Sasuke. Why wouldn't he say anything, they thought? Before anyone could say anything, a body bounced in the center. "That would be true, except my father wasn't a failure," said Naruto simply. He crouched and put his hand on a tree trunk. He leapt upwards, blurring. The girl tensed. She ducked narrowly, avoiding the slice. The tall male did not, however, and he fell to the ground. The back of his neck slit. The girl gasped in shock. "Why you killed him?" the girl whispered in horror. She turned and shivered. Naruto's cool silver eyes slid over her. "You are an enemy, and as such," said Naruto before he disappeared. The girl gasped as she fell to the floor, blood coming out of her mouth. "And Naruto," whispered Sakura. Naruto just regarded her with a blank stare. "They had the Heaven Scroll, let's get ready to." But before Naruto could finish, wind ripped through the clearing. It sent Naruto flying. Sasuke and Sakura held themselves to the ground with chakra, but Sakura realized the epicenter was aimed at Naruto. Naruto clutched the scroll tightly in his hand as he was thrown backwards through the forest. His eyes darkened to blood red, the swirl spun and Naruto threw out his hands. The jutsu seemed to dissipate almost instantly and Naruto realized it wasn't his doing. Naruto landed on his feet, he let the yellow lightning surround the scroll before it disappeared. He took a step forward when a loud hiss and shadow blocked the light. Naruto turned to look at the large snake with his Rinnegan activated. "You are no ordinary snake," said Naruto simply. The snake lunged forward, its mouth open wide. Naruto let the yellow lightning cover his body, the weightless feeling moved through his veins. As the snake's mouth snapped on him, he simply took a step through the snake's mouth. "How inconvenient," said Naruto coolly, his hand traveled to the hilt of his tanto. In a blur his arm moved, he disappeared in a flash of yellow lightning, he landed on the head of the snake. "I wonder who summoned you," said Naruto. He slammed the blade into the head of the snake. Said snake disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Naruto fell to the floor with a simple landing, as if he glided to the floor. He rubbed a hand through his hair, and in a flash of yellow lightning he was gone. Sasuke ducked beneath the slice of the kunai, his body still trembling from the genjutsu-laced killer intent. He grabbed Sakura and jumped to the next branch, she was still unresponsive. Sasuke ducked again and sent out a kick. It struck the grass nin in her stomach and she skidded backwards. "Oh, Uchiha-kun, how disappointing, all this to protect a teammate," said the grass nin with a hiss. She dashed across the tree, brandishing two kunai. Sasuke was prepared to fight, despite his shaking body. He blinked as a blue slice cut into the tree. Naruto landed on the branch, his tanto in his hand reverse grip. "Stay back," said Naruto coolly. The grass nin stopped in her attack, her long tongue licking her lips. "You are very fast indeed," said the grass nin. Naruto blurred forward, he sliced in a wide arc. The grass nin simply ducked her head backwards. Naruto followed up with a roundhouse kick, his foot shimmering blue slightly. The grass nin attempted to catch the foot, only to be rocketed into a nearby tree. Naruto spun and placed his foot back on the tree, his tanto clenched in his hand. "Get Sakuraken awake, Sasuke," said Naruto. Sasuke shook his head. "Naruto, she is too strong, if I couldn't fight her then," said Sasuke. Naruto just smiled at him. "I am the son of the fourth Hokage, I can handle it," said Naruto simply. Sasuke bristled, he turned and shook Sakura sharply. The grass nin climbed out of the tree, splinters stabbed into her body. "Strong as well, this is surprising," said the grass nin, her voice seemingly deeper. Naruto relaxed his stance slightly, and ducked under a swift fist. Naruto flipped backwards, watching as a kick moved beneath his face. Naruto landed on his feet, twisted his body to the side, holding the tanto up to block the kunai stabbed at him. "Who are you?" asked Naruto. The grass nin smirked. "None of your business, child," said the grass nin. Naruto felt the force on his tanto triple, his feet skidding backwards slightly. Naruto frowned and flipped over the grass nin, his arm moving in graceful arcs slicing in smooth movements. As he landed he slid his tanto home. The grass nin turned to mud. Naruto cursed and flipped backwards as the branch exploded, the grass nin moving forward with her fists. She touched the branch briefly before she followed Naruto into the air. Naruto twisted in midair, dodging a heavy punch, his foot shimmered as he spun and kicked at the grass nin. The grass nin caught the foot and was once again rocketed into a tree. Naruto twisted his body and landed on another branch. "Inconvenient," grumbled Naruto. He watched as the grass nin snaked up the tree. "You brat are very interesting indeed," said the grass nin. "Thanks," said Naruto coolly. The grass nin smirked. "But the gap in our power is something you cannot change, whilst I admit I won't be able to catch any of your little power strikes. I can certainly beat you," said the grass nin. Naruto tensed and watched as the nin crouched. Naruto did the same, his palm struck the floor. The grass nin dashed and ran across the trees tearing up the wood. Naruto jumped and blurred, he landed and in an almost invisible motion he sliced his tanto. The grass nin simply moved elegantly around the slice and uppercut Naruto. Naruto was rocketed backwards, he flipped his body and landed on his feet. The grass nin was upon him almost instantly, but Naruto moved swiftly, his body twisting dodging the punch. He removed his tanto and slashed at the grass nin. Each strike was precise, a few caught the grass nin, each searing through her body. Naruto was focused. "This is a different Naruto, not the one who sparred against me, or Kakashi. This is the battle," Naruto thought. Sasuke, he was in awe. Naruto and the grass nin were dancing, dodging blows and sending their own. The only downside was Naruto was not hitting the grass nin as much. "This brat amuses me, so much potential," thought the grass nin. Naruto simply stopped and dodged punches as fast as he could. His limbs shimmered and the grass nin cursed. Naruto moved into taijutsu, his own style caused the grass nin to widen her eyes. "You are making this increasingly harder for me to kill you," said the grass nin. Naruto smirked slightly, he blurred and slammed his palms against the grass nin. The grass nin flew against the tree, a sickening snap echoed through the clearing. Naruto huffed slightly, his limb strength fading. "Naruto, watch out!" called Sasuke, but Naruto felt the force slam into the side of his body. He was rocketed to another tree, his back cracked against the tree, he felt a force slam into his skull rocketing him to the floor. "I have had enough," said a male voice. Naruto shakily looked up at the grass nin, her face had been pulled off on one side, showing a pallid male face. "Naruto, must you be so weak? Use your full abilities for fuck's sake," cursed the demon. Naruto scowled and smirked slightly. "Got it," said Naruto. The grass nin frowned slightly, he had sensed the demonic chakra that had flashed through the boy's system. Naruto disappeared in a blur, he flipped and landed on the tree, his hands flashing through hand seals faster than anyone could see. He ended with hoarse and sucked in a breath. The grass nin watched as a large blue majestic fire was expelled towards him. Naruto pulled out his tanto and let the yellow lightning course through his body. He disappeared and sliced backwards and forwards. He let the lightning fade, he slammed his palm onto the floor and appeared next to Sasuke. Sasuke watched as Naruto raised a hand. Bright blue katanas began to appear over the smoky area. Naruto had sneakily used the fire and smoke to hide his space/time ninjutsu. Sasuke watched as Naruto dropped his hands and the 100 swords rained down. Naruto collapsed to his knees, his body aching. "Kukukuku, and I thought the Uzumaki was a blonde-haired brat. My informant needs some seeing to," said the male voice. Naruto tried to frown through the smoke, when he felt a force slam into the back of his head. He flew into the ground, he bounced once before someone landed on his back, he cried out in pain. He felt hands lace into the back of his coat, the grass nin flipped over Naruto, the grass nin's body bending in an impossible angle, he threw Naruto into a tree. Naruto cried out once more. The grass nin moved swiftly towards Naruto, he stabbed a kunai through Naruto's chest, and Naruto's eyes were wide. The grass nin's eyes were wide as it appeared he just stabbed a coat. Naruto jumped and kicked the side of the grass nin's face. The grass nin was rocketed to the side, his eyes open wide. Naruto pulled the kunai out of the tree and pulled his coat to him, he saw a bright light heading towards him, he was then covered in fire. Naruto cried out Sakura. Naruto winced as the fire licked against his skin, but it didn't burn. It was a scratching sensation. "You wouldn't think I would allow my container to be affected by my natural elements," said the Kyuubi snidely. Naruto felt his t-shirt burn away. But surprisingly his pants and boots had minor charring. The fire died out and Naruto coughed slightly, ash and dust covered his skin. He dodged backwards as the now pallid man threw punch after punch at him. Naruto caught one of the hands and winced as a slash burned his abdomen. He looked down to see a large gash, a kunai brandished in the man's other hands. "Foolish little boy, you think you can outfight a senin, your skills are top-notch no doubt, but nothing against a senin," said the pallid man. Naruto felt a hand wrap around his throat. Orochimaru," coughed Naruto, blood seeping freely from the wound on his abdomen. It had part of the seal. Orochimaru looked at said seal and licked his lips. "I thought the Jinchuriki had died long ago, but then my informant was wrong about most things," said Orochimaru. His fingers glowed purple as Naruto struggled against Orochimaru's hold. Naruto called Sakura, Sasuke was holding her back. Orochimaru slammed his fingers against the seal, aggravating the wound and causing a red-hot fire to spread quickly through Naruto's veins. Naruto screamed out in agony, his coat clutched in his hands in a white-knuckled grip. Naruto heard the Kyuubi panic. "Naruto, this seal is sealing me away, I am leaving the healing chakra your side, heal yourself, survive, be careful kid," said the Kyuubi before his voice drifted away. Naruto fell to his knees as a blood-curdling yell tore through his lips, the fire behind his eyes was building. Orochimaru smirked and after a few hand seals, blew Naruto away. "Naruto, damn it Sasuke, let go," said Sakura in anger. Sasuke was shocked that Sakura could be angry at him, but it was short-lived as Orochimaru slid effortlessly in front of them, scars littered his body from Naruto's attacks, and one of his arms was severely burned. Sakura shrunk back in fear. Sasuke looked down at the spot where Naruto was almost charred alive. Orochimaru smirked and kicked Sakura in the head, sending her flying to the opposite branch. Sakura rolled onto her knees and watched as Sasuke shrunk back, scuttling backwards on his backside. "Stay back," cried out Sasuke, fear shooting through his veins. Orochimaru just gave his signature laugh and slid his fingers in Sasuke's hair. He pulled Sasuke up forcefully. "You have been weakened by compassion. How do you expect to defeat Itachi with that mindset? Don't worry, I can give you power," said Orochimaru, whispering in Sasuke's ear, and from Sakura's angle it was like Orochimaru gave Sasuke a kiss on the neck. But Sasuke's scream of pain told her differently, and like a phantom Orochimaru disappeared with a chuckle.
That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.